Body, grace, and peace. We up in the building. We back up at it. We're back. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the titles. You know what we're going to be doing? It's a Monday watch party. Nothing changing. We're going to do a Monday watch party. We're going to set these lights correct. That's what we are going to do. We're going to change these lights down to where they need to be. Bada boom. There we go. Shout out to everybody who's jumped into the best live chat on the internet. Good to see you. My name is Jason. And at the current moment, she who shall not be named, the queen of receipts, is still yammer yammering. And we're going to jump in there real quick and jump all over this real quick and see what she has got going on. Trying to see where it's queued up because I wasn't able to download it until she actually finishes the show. So we'll just watch it in real time. Thank you all so much to everybody who's watched the videos that's dropped earlier. I apologize about the Phil Lyman video. What I found out happened was when I watched it with you all, we were watching it at 1 1/4 speed to kind of get through it and get caught up. I believe we started a little late, so we're trying to catch up with it. And also people ask me kind of speed up Candace because she just kind of talks long. Well, when my editor got the video clip, he wanted to speed it up so they can make it a certain length of time and kind of get it over with. And he sped it up again. So that's why that first portion of the video sounds super fast. And so it wasn't a problem with YouTube. I apologize. It was what we did. So I apologize about that. Thank you for understanding. If you slow down, if you want to go back and watch the Phil Lyman video, but the first part of it was kind of hard to understand, slow your video down to like 0.75 and it sounds perfectly normal. And then once it gets to the normal speed, because it's only like 4 minutes or 5 minutes of it, once it gets to the normal speed, you can just go back to leaving it back to 1.0 and it sounds fine. And I apologize about that. So today I am going to speed up Candace a little bit, but my editor knows not to speed it up anymore. So I think we got the problem resolved. So thank y'all so much. Also, thank you so much for enjoying story time with Mr. Whitaker. I'm glad you all were able to understand that it was just a story, y'all. There was nothing real about it. It was just a story. But there's some elements of truth to it. I'm glad that you all were able to enjoy it. So let's get at it. Let's get active. I want to say thank you to all of you all. And the very last thing while I'm pulling this in, please, when you hit the like button, put in the number that it is when you jumped into the best live chat on the internet. When you hit that like button, what number were you? I want to see, that way I can kind of keep up and see how we're doing. I'd love to celebrate with you all and let you all know my goal for this month is 65,000 likes. So I'm going big, I'm going strong. So I'd love for you all to be a part of that. So help me out. 36. What? What is this? What? What are you talking about, Mike? Shout out to Mike from White Label Consulting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get at it because Candace is going long today. So I think she's full of a lot of hot air or something. So let's go with no further ado. Let's get it. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear. Oh, why can't I hear it?
Happy Monday, everybody. Today we are going to discuss, or rather I'm going to introduce to you a psychological strategy that I refer to as David Hogging somebody. You guys remember David Hogg of the Parkland shooting tragedy? Of course you do.
Another theory.
Well, it seems like Turning Point USA is now.
So now she's introducing a new theory. She's not going to address Charlie wanted to bring me back on board. She's not going to address Ninja Turtles or bees. Now she's introducing yet another theory. Y'all make this make sense. Let's go.
Engaging in this strategy of David hogging the public. And I wanted to be clear that is downright manipulative. And I've really had enough of it. Frankly, what happened over the weekend is that their TP Action COO, Tyler Boyer, went on a little bit of an X binge. I don't recommend it, which was then highlighted by Alex Clark, who has a show over there on Instagram. And I think it's therefore fair for us to turn our attention back to them. So,
wow. The ideas that she comes up with to attack people, that's going to be studied by science, man. That's crazy. She doesn't like something, so she attacks them. That's nasty.
So let me put it to you this way. I'll give you a different scenario. If at this very moment, McDonald's publicly announced that their CEO was stepping down and they were going to replace him with somebody else, nobody would care, right? Like there's not going to be any public outcry. about them doing that. The average person doesn't even know who the current CEO of McDonald's actually is. But, however, giving you a different scenario, if out of nowhere McDonald's announced that they were getting rid of the Big Mac, that they were changing their French fries, and they're doing away with their chicken nuggets, there would probably be a reaction to that. People would be pretty angry. It would probably start trending. And it's because the reality is nobody actually cares about the corporate structure. But if you change the menu items, that actually changes the substance of the company for people. A very recent example of that, by the way, is the Cracker Barrel scandal, which was hilarious, but it was a good point for everybody to learn, right? Corporate over at Cracker Barrel effed around, and they found out pretty quickly that that old man on the logo, that inanimate old man that was with the cracker and the barrel, actually had more meaning to the public than their entire corporate division. They were ready to just walk away from it all because they got rid of the old man and his barrel. Now, I raise this only to say that I have seen multiple political organizations within recent years, especially when money starts pouring in, right? There's this like arrogance that sets in, and they start to delude themselves into believing that they're smarter than their customers, that they're smarter than their audience, so to speak, right? Like the magic is actually the corporate structure. Audiences, I want to be very clear, will catch a vibe pretty quickly. Audiences are smart, they're perceptive. They will sense when something is off. And the harder that you try to convince them that their senses are not real and that they are imagined, the more obvious it actually becomes to them that their suspicions are correct. Something's not right. Now, to just keep up with the same analogy, Charlie Kirk was essentially the old man on the Cracker Barrel logo. People were invested in Charlie Kirk. We have, at this moment, no definitive understanding of what happened on the day that he was assassinated. But what we do know definitively is that the feds are lying to us. That is obvious. It is abundant. If you're able to think thoughts, you recognize that something is very wrong with the story that has been presented to the public. And I think that what the public doesn't understand, and I count myself among the public, is why it seems as though Turning Point USA executives, and I'll say seems, are not even remotely interested in challenging that official narrative. They're not interested in challenging it publicly, at least. In fact, I think it was an ex-user that pointed out, he put it rather bluntly when he said, so they want us to forgive Tyler Robinson, but to attack the people that are trying to solve the murder of Charlie Kirk? Like, that's not right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. Of threats of lawsuits, we're collecting evidence of it. What are we even talking about? And I want to say that
That's disingenuous. That's so disingenuous. And this is, again, why I say Candace Owens is not a Christian. She's not a believer in Christ. Erica Kirk forgave Tyler Robinson as the wife of Charlie Kirk, not as the CEO, president of Turning Point, not as a representative of the state of Utah or Phoenix or anything of that nature, not even really as for the body of Christ. She did that for herself and modeled the right response that one should have in this case. God forbid you're ever in this position. And Candace knows that's not what the situation is. TPUSA is not asking the public, the great unwashed, the goyim, to forgive Tyler Robinson. They want the justice to be served just like everybody else does. TPUSA, represented by Erica Kirk, responsible for herself, says she's not going to hold that grudge. She's not going to hold that anger, that animosity toward that man. That's all she did. And Candace knows that. So just because somebody quoted that on Twitter doesn't mean anything, Candace. It only means that you don't know what you're talking about. My name is Jason. Catch me outside.
What's been bothering me in particular are the micro lies. It seems that they're suddenly in the business of telling micro lies, tiny little misrepresentations, tiny little half truths.
She's saying TPUSA is about the lying game. Hold on, y'all. I gotta get these. We've got to get. Hey, StreamYard, let me get some hotkeys on these things. Come on, help a brother out. Help me out, because y'all know how I feel.
But I don't like little lies. When there is one lie, there's 20.
So we do not want Candispiracy to be all up in her feelings. So don't you be giving her no lies. And don't you lie when you tell me what number like you were. When you hit that like button, type it in the chat. Tell me what like you were. Let's go. Ooh, that face, Jason. How did you do that, man? That's hilarious, bro.
Right out of the gate seems altogether unnecessary. It really makes me wonder, who are they protecting exactly?
Who are you?
You'll see oftentimes they and other influencers will invoke Erica as the reason that it's not appropriate to ask questions. It's just not appropriate while Erica is still mourning for you guys to ask any questions. And I'm just going to come back at you with some common sense. What sort of widow wouldn't want people to investigate the assassination of their husband. She has not explicitly said
That's adorable that she says, what kind of widow wouldn't want people? People, not officials, not the right person, not the legal arm of justice. No. Just random Joes and Janes on the internet. Come on. This woman is disingenuous, and this is some 4K disingenuousness. Is that a word? I don't know, but it's disingenuous for sure.
that, but the influencers are invoking that, right? They're invoking it's not appropriate
Nobody's
right
saying
now
it.
for people to be asking questions. That's what I mean when I say they are David hogging us. Okay, you could also use another example. Somebody that was on the right, Kyle Khrushchev. What essentially means is that when a tragedy takes place and we are emotional, our emotions are raw. Me especially, I think this was the first time where I couldn't really check my emotions. I'm just now moving out of the grief stage. There will be people that then will try to manipulate you, right? They will try to manipulate you by using that strategy of saying, well, it would be really wrong. It would be really wrong for you to look beneath this layer or to ask a question about this. And it would be an injustice to Charlie Kirk's legacy, really. If you really
No, it's an injustice to Charlie. This is going to be some premium level, dare I say, high grade. This is that 95 octane grade gaslighting right here. This is not that foolishness gas. This is some serious, you got to go to the expensive side of town to get this kind of gas for this kind of gaslighting. Ma'am, nobody's saying that we shouldn't ask questions about the bullet path or the autopsy. Nobody's saying that. What we are saying, however, is some of the stuff that you're saying, Charlie Kirk was a coward. Charlie Kirk was a fraud. Charlie Kirk was a sniveling. You know what she meant when she said that? When she said that he was afraid to voice himself about Israel and say what he felt about it. So he's basically a fraud. He was lying is what she's saying. No, ma'am, those are inappropriate statements. To say that he was going to convert to Catholicism, where's that? Whatever happened to that hot take? See, every show she ends on a cliffhanger and she never comes back and addresses it. Ever. Y'all, for real, man, the candies. Y'all, hey, by the way, I forgot. We didn't make room at the front of the church for all the candies. So all the candies, come on up here. Grace and peace to you all. Get up here, close to here, so you can get this message because you need this. Shout out to the candies and Candispiracy. Shout out to y'all. Is it diesel gaslight? You think we're going to need diesel for this? We might need some rocket fuel, jet fuel. This is some jet fuel gaslighting here. Let's go.
loved him, then you shouldn't do this, okay? Because the tragedy just happened. And they did this, David Hogg. You're not allowed to question David Hogg. Like, he suddenly became an authority. And no matter what he said, we were kind of told by the journalist that it made perfect sense and he should go to Harvard. And, obviously to the extent that anybody suffers and survives a school shooting, I'm with you. And I think that that's totally fair. But then when you go beyond that, it starts to feel a little bit like you're emotionally manipulating us and that you're actually trying to silence people who have valid questions or criticisms or concerns. That strategy, like I said, it worked on me in the beginning. I was definitely
That's not
completely
true.
worked by it. And I was feeling like, even though
Candace, you were saying something on Thursday. You were saying that TPUSA, I'm sorry, that the Jews did it on Thursday. Oh, by the way, whatever happened to them? How'd they get off the hook? I forgot about that. How did the Jews get off the hook? I mean, because they were getting all the smoke. BB, maybe Candace got the call. BB is not on the hook anymore. How did he get off the hook? Dude, how do you keep stopping her face at these places, man? This is hilarious facial expression. I'm not going to put that on a thumbnail. I'm not going to put that on a thumbnail. I refuse to do that. Don't you dare ask me to put that facial expression on a thumbnail. Don't you dare do that. Stop it, every one of y'all. Oh, yeah. And by the way, shout out to all the new people here that are like, you want me to be serious and you want me to be coy and you want me to be all professional. This is not the show for you. I am a whole grown man and I enjoy making fun of things that I find silly and ignorant. I find Candispiracy silly and ignorant. I'm going to make fun of it. I make fun of myself. I don't care. So if you get upset about that, I do want you to do me a favor. See yourself stage left. Or as my brother used to say, scratch your butt and get glad. I don't care. I'm going to keep making fun of it. So if you don't like my stories, if you don't like my jokes, if you don't like me saying, catch me outside, guess what? Don't say anything. You would be well advised to remain silent. Let's get done. Why is she looking like this, y'all? Why did y'all do this? Who did this to this woman? I cannot.
knew that they were telling white lies, that I should just allow it and to instead focus my entire attention
Who
on
are
just
you?
unpacking the federal lies. But you know
Who
what?
are
Over the
you?
weekend, I realized actually, no. Lying, full stop, is weird. It's weird after a tragedy. It is weird after someone that you purport to be your best friend. You're so close. Why are you telling micro lies about that person? And actually, by exposing those lies, perhaps it will reveal a bigger picture. Because what would motivate it? What would actually motivate it? Now, I'll give you just one example here, and we're going to get into some stuff that's rather bombastic, if I'm being frank. But one example that I bit my tongue on a couple weeks ago was when influencers randomly went on a full attack, like full attack mode against me when I very casually, you guys watching the series, very casually mentioned that Catholics were hoping that Charlie's going to take the next step and convert. Like, of course, I'm Catholic. Of course, what would be
You didn't say that. Hold on. Please, hold on. I got to take my hat off and pray. Please let her show that full video. Lord, please don't let her sit there and lie. If this woman, hold on, because I don't have the clip ready. I am not the best at having clips ready. I got to get better at that. I need y'all to pray for me on that too. Shout out to the 101st person that liked the video. What's going on? Shout out to you. This is crazy work. She did not just say Charlie Kirk was going to make the next step. She said that you're too smart to be Protestant. Remember that? Oh my gosh. Make it so, Jason. Go.
You guys watching the series very casually mentioned that Catholics were hoping that Charlie's going to take the next step and convert. Like, of course, I'm Catholic. Of course, what would be wrong with me sharing that? Everybody was sharing their stories about Charlie and the conversations they were having. But for some reason, Candace saying, and I'll sum it up, effectively, it was like 2 sentences. Charlie was going through some spiritual changes towards the end. Catholics were hoping that he'd take the next step because he was praying the rosary. I never said he converted because he didn't. That would have been dishonest. But people were somehow really angry. Somebody clearly hit the panic button. Suddenly a bunch of videos were being made disputing the narrative. People were going, I knew Charlie, and he was truly evangelical to his core.
You know what it is? You know what it is? Candace is really upset. Bless her heart. Y'all wrap your arms around Candy and give her a little hug. She need a hug right now. She is upset. How dare other people not agree with her? That's what it is. That's what I'm getting. That's the vibe I'm getting. You know, she likes to talk about the vibe. That's the vibe I'm getting. She's upset that these people didn't agree with her. And how dare they challenge her story? I got this feeling she's going to start rehashing these stories that she's never addressed. She's going to come back to them and treat them like she was assaulted and battered by quote unquote influencers. Because there's of course, the whole infamous letter. Of course, now this about Charlie converting and so many other stories where she ends the show on a cliffhanger and never addresses it, that they were going to bring her back. Of course, she's going to catch a lot of flack for that. And she's going to come back and be like, they were just being mean to me. They were attacking me. But she never addresses what she said. Because please understand, where's your evidence that he was praying the rosary? That would be an email. That would be a text message that she probably would have been getting she would have gotten pretty close to Charlie's death, right? Why is the only text message she showed us comes from May? If Charlie was telling you on September 1st, I'm praying the rosary, why would you not show that text message? Why would that not have been like the first thing you led with? Okay. Oh, I think we should just watch this, Jason. It doesn't make sense because the woman is insane.
Blah, 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 blah. And I want to tell you this, it felt coordinated, it felt fake, it felt unnecessary, but most importantly, it was untrue. Okay, it wasn't true. And I'm going to share with you some more truth so that you can contextualize it. Charlie was attending Mass weekly. He was sometimes even attending Mass daily. He was not attending Pastor Rob McCoy's church. As I mentioned before, yes, he was praying the rosary. Charlie, in fact, was wearing the St. Michael pendant when he died, okay? Has already been publicized.
Where? Can anybody verify anything she's saying? Anybody care to verify anything that she said? St. Michael pendant, going to Mass daily, weekly, not attending Rob McCoy's church. I would love to see these.
Erica took a Catholic bishop with her to pray over his body on the day that he died. These are all indisputable facts. And it is also a fact, which was presented by Megyn Kelly, that a few weeks before his death, Erica had a priest come over to pray over them when some witches thought it would be funny, whatever, to put a hex on him. Okay? That's a lot of things that were happening behind the scenes. And the people at Turning Point USA knew those things to be true. Okay. They knew everything that I just shared with you. They knew for a fact. So I was a bit astonished when Andrew Colvett and Alex Clark similarly jumped in this inauthentic attempt to dissuade the idea that Charlie was softening on Catholicism. It read to me like just sheer hatred of Catholics for no reason at all. Here's what they said. I'll jog your memory. I want you to listen to this.
Wait, but I want you to show. Ooh, this woman is a treat. Why is she not showing us her evidence of what she said? Notice she just said all of that stuff, praying the rosary, going to mass, bang his head on the floor 3 times, all this kind of crazy stuff, but no evidence. But she's about to show us Andrew Colvett, and she's gonna say that he's wrong. Well, then why don't you show us what the difference was? Don't you have a text message saying something different? You said he had the same Michael pendant on. Where was it? Show us. If there's evidence to that fact, show it. Y'all, this woman is ridiculous. But y'all gonna keep saying that I'm bad because I keep calling her out. And guess what? I'm gonna stay bad, just like Michael Jackson. I'm bad.
Now, in the context of all of the additional details that I just shared with you, okay? Take a listen. Was he becoming Catholic?
No, but he really loved Catholic Mass. He loved the ritual of it. He loved the beauty of old Catholic churches and the stained glass.
And him and Erica would go sometimes.
Yeah, well, Erica's a cradle Catholic, but she ended up kind of like me. I grew up Catholic in First Communion and went to Catholic high school, but then I ended up becoming a Christian in college through a Protestant church, through a non-denominational kind of more experience. It was actually Presbyterian, and then it was kind of
Shout out to Presbyterians.
And I think Erica kind of follows that same path. She and I share that.
Also, by the way, I just want to draw attention to, she's posted a photo of her and Charlie and the kids in mass before.
So wait, is that bad? Again, they grew up Catholic and converted. And I'm trying to understand what's bad. Catholics do have a grand church appeal. I mean, I don't attend Catholic church at all, but I mean, I can see if somebody wanted to get that feel. I mean, it's a very interesting feeling. Okay, fine. Explain to me how that means you're converting. I would love to hear how that happens. I'm just trying to understand.
Oh, are you guys converting? And she said, no, we just like attending sometimes. So she herself had said no.
Yeah,
probably.
and I think Charlie, one of the things, Charlie really hated worshiping in like a gym, or some sort of kind of blank space that you just turn into church.
And that's fine. I understand that. He should become a Presbyterian. Hey, we do that. But again, why is she overlooking? If you could go to a gym or you could go to a stone cathedral, I mean, come on, we're not talking about the same thing. These are not apples to apples comparisons. Okay, stop, Jason.
There's no problem. He didn't have a problem with the act of that. He just didn't prefer it. And he loved, again, the ritual, the ancient, feel of a Catholic Mass, and the fact that everybody around the world that was worshiping as Catholic, he loved that. So he had some really big theological hangups with that. You can go check the videos out, him debating with Michael Knowles, in good fun. I mean, they were dear friends, but they loved kind of debating the whole Protestant versus Catholic thing.
So she just gonna skip over the whole theological point and him just saying that he liked going to the church because he liked the feel of the church experience. But really? So we're just gonna skip what he just said. Okay, maybe she's not gonna skip it, Jason. You don't know that she's gonna skip it. Okay, fine. Thank you so much. Let's go see.
Now, given everything that I've shared with you, does that conversation register as like totally and completely authentic, or kind of trying to be like, yeah, no, like he loved the architecture of things, but beyond that, nothing was happening? Like that's not fully honest, and it registered to me like a cover up of sorts. And I was wondering, like, what are we exactly covering up? Like, I wasn't going Catholic gang, wasn't trying to bring back a 30 years war. I was just sharing the communications that I had with him, and now I felt like suddenly,
where's the communication? Where is it? Nobody's seen it. I love that you make it sound like you gave us your evidence. You haven't shown your homework, Candice. You haven't shown your homework. Let me back that up so y'all can hear.
as like totally and completely authentic, or kind of trying to be like, yeah, no, like he loved the architecture of things, but beyond that, nothing was happening. Like that's not fully honest. And it registered to me like a cover up of sorts. And I was wondering, like, what are we exactly covering up? Like I wasn't going Catholic gang, wasn't trying to bring back a 30 years war. I was just sharing the communications that I had with him. And now I felt like suddenly so many people were racing to establish that his legacy was anything but Catholic, right? Like he was super de-duper Judeo-Christian. And ironically, it was Judeo-Christianity that I was challenging him on personally, like privately.
Where
And
you have no you have no coy, you have no decorum. Go ahead and unleash the text messages. Don't give me that you hold him in such high regard that you can't show the text messages. Go ahead and release the text messages. Go ahead. Just do it. Because there's no reason, because at the moment, we have no reason to believe what you're saying. None whatsoever. There's no reason to believe you. You've shown us nothing. You literally have shown us your opponent's view, but not your actual evidence to counter their view. That's got to be some crazy work, y'all.
About the political pressures of it, the way that I felt because of last year, that it registered to me like more of a cult than a true theology or a religion or a religious aspect rather. And it was back in February of this year when out of nowhere, he's the one that actually messaged me and said, and said Catholicism is sounding better and better in February of 2024. This is kind of when
here we go. Let's go.
Discussion. We should chat soon. Catholicism is looking better and better. Okay. I then offered back to him a chart just showing how the phrase Judeo-Christianity kind of is really associated with the dawn of the nation of Israel, right?
Okay, so shout out to everybody who told me that dates should show up on text messages. This is a text message and the date is on it. So this means that the other ones that she's shown are not, they've been augmented to some degree, shape, or form because the date is not on those other ones. This one has a date on every time a message goes through. Fine. We should chat soon. Catholicism is looking better and better. Okay. Besides the fact that what is the conversation? What does this mean? I have no idea. But let her go, Jason. Let her go.
And we did chat about it. We talked about it a lot. And I was thrilled, like I said, and I was being honest that he was attending mass. Okay. But I want to again state that Charlie was not attending Rob McCoy's church. He was attending mass. So it registered to me again as somewhat disingenuous when Pastor Rob McCoy came out and effectively asked me, stop looking into all of the things that had happened in the lead up to Charlie Kirk's assassination, or at least asking me to pause it rather would be more fair of an interpretation until the memorial, right? I'm going to jog your memory here. Here is what Pastor Rob McCoy wrote on his Instagram after I exposed the now infamous Hamptons meeting, which took place. He wrote this: Charlie Kirk was my friend and I was his pastor. I want to simply say this regarding Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk was a friend to Candace and never publicly spoke poorly of her, although he disagreed with her. He never operated nor entertained gossip or innuendo concerning Candace. My only comment I offer regarding Candace is this: I only wish that at this tragic time of mourning, she would be the friend to Charlie that he was to her. He would never have treated Candace or her family in such a way had, God forbid, this tragedy been hers. All friend loves at all times. Proverbs. Now, I want to be very clear. If Charlie was a friend of mine, I sure hope if I was assassinated in front of the world that he would raise hell to figure out what actually took place in that day. That's not being a friend. A friend.
Shout out. You know what? This live chat is the best live chat on the planet. So apparently, hold on. This is a new contact. You see, that's why I can't watch this stuff by myself, because I would have missed this. Shout out. All right. It's a new contact name. All right. So what made it new? Did he just update the name? Is that... I don't know, because I really, truly don't know, y'all. I'm not trying to be coy or be obtuse. I don't get it. But why is this a new contact? Why is this Charlie Kirk new? And then also, why is this from 2024? So basically a year and a quarter ago, he said this. What was the conversation about? I would love to know, why was he saying this? How did this conversation start? Or is this the beginning of it? And y'all had no other conversation prior to? Yeah, this, Candace, I don't think this is not the slam dunk that you think it is. Now, I also want to point out something as well. Just because somebody has sympathy towards something, that doesn't mean that they're converting to it. I have sympathy for my sister Kiana, because she attended Howard. And you know what? I gotta feel sorry for her, man. I do. And I can't find her picture now. I feel empathy for her, but that don't mean I'm gonna go to her school and become a bison. Absolutely not. I don't see her picture in here, but she knows who she is. I feel sympathy for her. That doesn't mean anything. And I could say, you know what? If Howard was playing, Howard beats Morehouse all the time. So I could probably send Kiana a message and say, man, Howard is looking better and better each year. What would be wrong with that? because it would be true. What's the context of Catholicism is looking better and better? Is it in contrast to gymnasium church? Maybe it does look better. Is it in contrast to, there we go. Look, I'm just saying, Kiana. You know, when they beat us, they look better. That's what I'm saying. When the Bisons beat the Maroon Tigers, they look better. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's get done with this
discussion. We should chat soon. Catholicism is looking better and better. Okay. I then offered back to him a chart just showing, again, this is 48 hours before church was
sorry. Here we go.
names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week. But I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view.
Let's go.
That he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing.
It's funny that she takes the man saying, hey, why don't you stop trying to put him out there on loud? How about you stop doing that? That means that he's attacking you. Okay, let's see what she got.
So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, ugh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Then somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit.
What day? Wait, where's the date on that? Where's the date? Like, you have the date on this one. How do you get this text thread, but you don't have the date on it? And how do we know who these people are? No, ma'am. No, we're going to have to, before we believe that, I need them to go ahead and subpoena Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile or Boost, whatever Charlie Kirk's phone carrier was. I need this from another independent source. Well, where's again, Candace, if you're going to do this, I just told you release the text messages. Shout out to you for releasing the text messages, but we need to see those dates and times. We need to see those names. The names must be named, Candy. Come on. There's no way. Nope. And if she wants to say that the text message conversation between Tyler and his furry, gay, transitional boyfriend, girlfriend, lover was weird, this one seems really weird as well. I'm just saying. It just seems pretty interesting that he would use type of words like this. Am I crazy? Let's keep it going. Let's roll.
And he did not back down, not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat, okay?
Make it so.
So what are we to make of that? Okay, now that I'm showing you this and showing to you that the conversations were real, I want you to reflect, and it took me a lot of patience to allow the lies that were being woven and the misrepresentations of people that were pretending that I was just, high on lying about Charlie and the pressure he was under, the attacks that not just me, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly faced for trying to stand up and tell the truth about what Charlie was actually
throwing
going through.
Megyn in there.
Why are you hearing it, though, from me and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly? Isn't that weird? You got people that are hosting a show. Have they, in like one honorable thing, come out and said, like, you know what? F a couple of these donors who made his life a living hell in the last couple of weeks. Why haven't they done that? Also a rabbi in that chat. Like, why hasn't anybody made that move to at least say, to vindicate what I have been saying about what he was going through? That registers to me as very suspicious. I'm going to frankly say that. It's suspicious to me.
You know what I'm going to say? Hold on. I got to get these sound effects ready.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Maybe these people are not as goofy as you are, Candace. Maybe that's an option. Maybe they don't believe the things that you believe, and they don't see this situation as you see it. Therefore, they don't choose to go out here and raise Cain with their brothers and sisters in Christ over theories and ideas that come from you. Maybe that's it. Maybe. Or maybe, hey, how about this one? Maybe the way you're reading and interpreting these text messages is not the way that it was meant to be interpreted. What about that? How about those biscuits? I'm just wondering, just asking questions. Please make it make sense. But I don't think that anybody should take her seriously, in my opinion. But let's get done.
It makes me think that in the same way that Charlie was being pressured by money, that you might be now run by that same money, that those same donors might be running you to correct the ship and to focus yourselves on eulogizing Charlie as something and someone that never once flinched, never once for a single second doubted the Israeli cause.
We're back
Now they
to
want
the
us suddenly
Jews.
believe the best way to honor Charlie is to shut up. Exact opposite of what he quite literally laid down his life doing. Answering questions, turning point. Answering the questions is what he was doing in the second that he died, okay? And we all are feeling spiritually the same way, so I'm just going to say it. They're not grieving right. It's not up to us to decide how people grieve, but I will say unequivocally that you shouldn't grieve by lying or by gaslighting. Is that fair? Can we all agree? You should not grieve by lying and gaslighting the public.
What if what you allege is a lie, what you allege is gaslighting, Candace, is not true? Do you make room? Does Candace Owens make room that she could be wrong? That the person that is out of pocket, the person that's out of line, the person that is doing wrong is her. Does she ever make room for that? I'm just wondering. Because, she's really sounding.
Weird.
That's all I'm saying. Let's go.
Public. They want us to believe that the only way that we can support and honor Charlie's legacy is by donating our money. But it would not be supportive for us to try to figure out who killed him and why the feds are lying. We should instead just trust the feds and excuse their little half-truths that they're telling along the way. Now, on that point, they keep trying to make it seem like it's completely normal that 4 minutes after Charlie was shot, someone on their team nervously raced to grab the SD cards, specifically from the camera that is behind Charlie's head. And that was because during that time, I think it's like trying to make it normal that his instinct was to stand on Charlie's chair to actually violate a crime scene, but
That's not
also
true.
to mysteriously just grab the SD card out of the camera, right? Not only are they pretending that that was completely normal, but they're also presenting it as though it was a heroic act. It was like a forthright, clarified act to do in that moment, and that anyone who uses their own eyes and sees it as maybe a little bit suspicious are just in the business of spinning conspiracies. Now, that's exactly what was communicated by Andrew Colvett.
This is adorable. Candace could show that video right now. If she wanted to, she could show the clip. That man did not stand on Charlie Kirk's chair. Charlie Kirk's chair was on the stage. The chair that he stood on was on the ground. She could actually show it. And Andrew Colvett explained what happened, and it makes perfect sense. There's no reason to think like, oh, this is going to need to be given to the police. Let me get a hold of it now. That's not hard to ascertain and wrap my mind around. But when you want to find something wrong, when you want to find fault, this is what you end up doing, looking like Candace.
Tucker Carlson, who was hosting Charlie's show, and gratefully, Tucker Carlson instantly responded with a much more sensible approach. Take a listen.
By the way, just one other conspiracy theory I just want to snuff out here. One of our dear friends that literally from the very beginning started with us and loved Charlie like a brother, he grabbed the SD cards out of the camera afterwards. And there's all these conspiracy videos about, like, why did he grab the SD cards? Well, first of all, they're in the possession of the FBI. Okay. It's not like he took them and like ran off with them. Second of all, I asked him personally, I said, why did you do that? And he looked at me and this was his answer. He said, because I know people can be evil. And he did not want that footage being grabbed by somebody. There was videos of people after the incident going and stealing hats off the table. I mean, so I'm so grateful he did that. And that was his instinct. He's like, I'm depressed to know that that was why I did that. But I knew that I had to protect that footage because I wanted, you're recording in like 4K, And so I'm so glad he did that. But Charlie knew the existence of evil. And
Well,
so,
can I say,
yeah.
I think that people can feel the existence of evil, and that just to put in a sympathetic word for people who are trying to make sense of this and coming to the wrong conclusions, I think they're motivated for the most part by pure intent. I think they don't trust the authorities. They have every reason to feel that way. I know that for a fact. Not the Trump administration, in general. Like, we're not, there's been a lot of lying, and it's corroded the trust. That's not their fault, actually. They're the victims
That's a
of
good
it.
point. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, thank you, Tucker.
But no. But he still gave it to the FBI. And this is interesting. I'm going to back this up. Thank you so much to everybody who jumped into the best live chat on the internet. I want you to hear this one more time. Listen to what Andrew says about the SD card. We'll call it SD gate. We'll call it SD gate. Listen to this one more time.
show. And gratefully, Tucker Carlson instantly responded with a much more sensible approach. Take a listen.
By the way, just one other conspiracy theory I just want to snuff out here. One of our dear friends that literally from the very beginning started with us and loved Charlie like a brother, he grabbed the SD cards out of the camera afterwards. And there's all these conspiracy videos about, like, why did he grab the SD cards? Well, first of all, they're in the possession of the FBI. Okay. It's not-
Stop. Did you hear it? A shout out. Put it in the chat. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Watch this. There's another little second.
He grabbed the SD cards out of the camera afterwards. And there's all these conspiracy videos about, like, why did he grab the SD cards? Well, first of all, they're in the possession of the FBI. Okay.
Where are the SD cards? Where are the SD cards? In the possession of the FBI. Shout out, because I just saw somebody put it in a super chat. Thank you so much. I do need to shout out these supers, but I want to real quick shout out Village Baby. Thank you for the $5 super. She said this. She forgot she spoke to the man who had the SD card footage, allegedly, but Andrew just said here, the FBI has the footage. Somebody might not be telling the truth. I'm just saying, Candace said she saw the footage and the guy had the footage with him. But now the FBI has the footage. Okay, I'm just saying. She forgot. She literally saw the video and vouched nothing was sketchy. I'm just saying. This is what happens, man. Candispiracy gets her own self tied up in knots. Thank you so much, Village Baby. I appreciate you. I am going to finish these up and I am going to shout out these supers, but I want to get to the commercial break. Let's go.
It's not like he took them and like ran off with them. Second of all, I asked him personally. I said, why did you do
That for a fact. Not the Trump
I don't like
administration.
Tucker.
Yeah.
We're not, there's been a lot of lying and it's corroded the trust. That's not their fault, actually. They're the victims
That's a
of
good
it.
point. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, thank you, Tucker, for saying that. And this is the reason why Tucker is so big, because he has this perspective. He understands like what the average person is thinking here. And the average person looks at that and I think it's shady. And, saying that there was this heart-wrenching moment where you were worried because people were stealing stuff on the table, but also you took the SD card out and not the very expensive camera, which is if you were worried about stealing and theft, maybe you would take the camera. But
Come on, Candace. You cannot be this obtuse. You have to be doing this intentionally. She's got to be doing this intentionally. She's got to be. I just cannot believe that Candace is this obtuse. Ma'am, the cameras would probably be insured. What's not insured is the memory card. You can't replace the memory card. You can go buy another Blackmagic 4K. You cannot go buy another SD card of this particular event. You cannot be this obtuse. You've got to be doing this on purpose. To be this insane and silly to think like, oh, this is a hot take. Like, oh, they went and collected the camera. Oh, they collected the SD card, but left the camera. He took the camera too. Like, you've got to be.
He says that the feds, that he gave it to the feds, right? Now, he doesn't insinuate, obviously, that they don't have the footage. Turning Point does have the footage. That's very clear. I saw partially the footage, which means it made it back home, or maybe they had it back home because they were recording it live, whatever it is. It was being live streamed. But
that wasn't live streamed. That day wasn't live streamed. And it wasn't shared. Candace, I don't think you saw that footage, because she has said now 2 different times she saw the footage, she didn't see the footage, now she saw partial footage. Candace, you might need to go listen to yourself, because you are now saying different things.
He said actually conflicts with what Tyler Boyer is
Okay, let's go.
What he said over this weekend. Okay. Tyler Boyer, like I said, he's a COO of Turning Point Action, and he went on this kind of bender, worst kind of bender, Twitter bender, defending the organization. He thought he was defending them against public sentiments, during which time he refutes what Andrew Colvett is saying about the SD cards. Andrew says the Turning Point employee was worried about thefts, but Tyler says that actually he was instructed to secure the SD cards before the campus went onto lockdown. Now, here's the tweet, so I can show you that. Somebody said, rightfully, emotional manipulation and falsely equating scrutiny as some form of hate speech is not going to work here. You and Colvett admitted that the staff tampered with cameras, and the most.
Why in the world, if Candace has already vouched for the video allegedly that she saw, so why are you spending this time attempting to say that they did something nefarious with the SD card, as if that would change the events of September 10th? Wow, man. She has got to be scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Crucial video evidence in the largest political assassination in decades, hiding makes him look guilty. And Tyler countered, dude did not tamper with anything. Yes, he did. It's a crime scene. The law enforcement officers asked them to turn them over immediately so they didn't get lost in commotion before they took everyone into lockdown. Now, that is just not true. That is not true. What Tyler is saying is not true. I spoke to that Turning Point individual, as I told you.
Where's the evidence? We don't know that. Where's the evidence that you spoke to that person? Where is it? Because we've seen your evidence so far. We've seen your proof. We've seen your receipts, your homework. And ma'am, it's lacking. It's lacking. Where's your evidence that you spoke to the person and they said something different than this?
Never once mentioned that police officers. I explicitly asked him, why did you take the SD cards out specifically of the camera behind? And the answer that I was given was sounded more like what Andrew Colbert said. You know, I was emotional. I knew that Charlie was dead. And my instinct, he told me, was to make sure that I secured the footage so that Erica would not have to see it again. Like, he didn't want Erica to have to see it and have to relive it. That is what he said to me on the phone. Nothing about police officers. No one's ever heard police officers ask them to secure the footage before lockdown until Tyler Boyer tweeted this weekend. I don't like it. Okay? I just don't like it. Now,
I don't even understand what the point. I don't understand what the difference is. Did something sketchy happen to the SD card? Should be the question that we are asking. And if nothing sketchy happened, then why are we having this long, exhaustive drag out about the man took out the SD card before he took out the camera, before he walked backwards, before he fell into the manhole with the Ninja Turtles? Why are we having this if nothing on the SD card, which you allege that you saw, Candispiracy, nothing was sketchy? I'm just wondering. I don't understand.
to be fair, Tyler is making it clear that he is responding to all of these tweets or X's, whatever we're supposed to call them, because there have been people, he says, that have flat out accused the organization of having a hand in Charlie's murder.
You
share when or where exactly that happened. I think people,
baby, it's
feel
you.
you're being dishonorable.
It's you, baby. How are you so nose blind that you don't know it's you that he's talking about? Now, that's why I keep saying these people need to call her out by name. People need to call her out by name and make a mockery of her, drag her name into it, because she's the one that's doing it and her surrogates and others are spreading it. They need to start taking it out at the root.
By not questioning the narrative, but I haven't read anybody that's explicitly accused them of murder.
You did it.
In fact, the tweets that he's responding to all seem to be pretty fair, in my opinion. You know, now regarding the missing campus footage, there is a user that begged Tyler to file an FOIA request, and that user wrote this: "Please, I beg you, focus on getting the security footage of the sequence pre-jump off the Losey building where we can see Robinson in shot position and corroborate the story. Like, file an FOIA, get that footage, keep it simple." And he responds and he says, "Guys, there's camera footage all over that campus that the police have, plus all the cameras that we had. They likely won't release it until the trial." Now, there's just one problem
Go ahead.
with that narrative, right? If they have all this footage and they're just not releasing it because they just want to, they're just worried about the trial, they want to make sure they win the trial. What's wrong with that narrative is the manhunt that took place. If indeed they have tons of footage from all these different angles and some of it in 4K, which they do, this is why we've been saying the feds are lying from day one, and the first time that that footage should have been deployed was during the 33-hour manhunt, right? Why didn't they release more footage at that time, right? If they were actually interested in catching the killer, why only release a blurry image when there is, as he mentions, footage everywhere, all over that campus, every inch? Are we supposed to honestly believe that at that time their thought process in the middle of a manhunt was, well, let's not release too much except for a blurry image because I know we don't have him, but in case we do have him, when we do get him, we want to make sure that we are able to try him by not releasing footage, which makes no sense, by the way.
So real quick, this is why people don't like Candace Owens and feel like she's attacking Turning Point. Who would be the entity to take those requests to? Because the Freedom of Information Act request goes to not to Turning Point. It goes to the police. It goes to the investigation arm of Utah. Why don't you go there? And if Turning Point is saying, look, we feel comfortable that the right person is behind bars and we're going to allow them to tease it out, why would they go against that and start doing something different? That makes no sense. If they feel comfortable that Tyler Robinson is the one that did this deed, then they're going to sit there and allow it to play out. If you don't, then you go the route that you travel. But why are you looking at them because they're not moving the way you want them to move? That makes no sense, Candace.
And I think this is what happens when a company loses their, as South Park ribbed him, master debater, right? What they're saying does not make sense. These people could not win in college campus debates without Charlie, okay? Because the reality is, if releasing footage, okay, if releasing clear footage of what happened on that day means that you are going to lose in court, then it probably signifies that the person that you are trying to bring to court didn't do it.
That's not true.
They're somehow vindicated by the footage.
No,
Like,
that's not true. That's muddying the waters, Candace. You know this. This is not new concepts. You don't put out all of the information. Let's look at the Carmelo Anthony Metcalf deal in Texas. We still ain't seen that. They let the people come in, the journalists come in and look at it. They had to keep their hands behind their backs. They couldn't bring a pencil, paper, smartphone, or dumb phone. They had to just look at it and then walk out. Had to remember what they saw. Why? Because it's evidence. Like, you cannot, she has to be playing this. And she has to be actually playing this role. This has got to be a skit.
Jumping down on the center and I show him firing the shot, but like that totally vindicates him, then you got the wrong guy, right? Having more footage, examining more footage, and examining more evidence should further incriminate Tyler Robinson. It should also go a very long way in getting people off of these quote unquote conspiracies. Common sense is what I said from the beginning. Release the footage, which you do have in your possession. It's not like just the feds have this footage. Release the footage, because then people will move on from quote unquote conspiracies.
Nope, that's you.
Everything they're saying right now doesn't make sense. And they're not smarter than the public, right? And Turning Point is not going to survive this sort of an attitude, name calling, threats to sue, calling people demonic, possessed by demonic spirits, because they're rightfully asking questions of the
Who said? Never mind.
most high profile political assassination since JFK. It's just not going to work. Free PR advice. It is not going to work. I want to show you one more thing too, because I am quite stunned by the audacity.
The audacity.
Out, Alex Clark to like call me out by sharing on her profile something that's just fundamentally untrue. But before we do that, I'm gonna throw to a couple of our sponsors. First, Preborn, because
All right, shout out to Candice. Shout out to Candice, because Candy is she's a gem, man. She is a piece of work. Shout out to Candy. All right, let me get at these supers. My gosh. Y'all are like super fantastic. Let's hit it. Let's get at it. What is MT with that $5 super says this? Video saying, why is Candy taking the place of Charlie's widow? Candy responded that she's about to show text prove he was converting. Ooh-wee. All right. So if he was converting, why would you not be partner with his wife then? If his wife is an undercover Catholic. I'm just wondering. Thank you for the $5 super, my man. Coming through. Thank you. Derek Perry. Is it possible the Fed doesn't know? They are not the primary investigating agency in the case, and they are not omniscient. Shout out for sure. Like, no, they got to know everything. The Feds got to know it all, man. Don't you know? The Feds got to know. They must know everything. MT says this. I am disgusted. I am so disgusted by this woman. And I agree with you. The $2 super is exactly what I agree. I agree 100%. $5 from BJPC. Wow, doubling down on the lies. Is her nose growing yet? Thanks for calling her out. Shout out. Thank you so much for the $5 super. This is ridiculous. As if everybody came to this conclusion to attack Turning Point on their own. Like literally, she brought it up. She started it. Shout out to Juji B for the $4 super sticker. Thank you very much. I appreciate you blessing what we're doing over here. Thank you. Now, Alex, with the 1790 other kind of currency, I don't know what that is. What is that? Thank you, though. Jason, stop being so ignorant. Candispiracy has been given the authority by the Pope to convert all new Catholics. She has converted him. End of story. Well, there we go. Shout out. The new Pope, the same guy that was blessing Frosty the Snow Turd. That guy? That guy. Okay, because I got that picture somewhere. I'm like, for real? This is the guy. Where's that picture at? I promise I'm going to be more professional sometime later, though. Thank you so much for Oh, this picture right here. Man, come on, y'all. Let me put it back. Hold on one second. All right, let me. So this is the Pope that this is the man that allegedly Charlie Kirk was going to, I guess, be calling his pastor, I guess. This guy right here, the guy that's praying over an ice block, literally an ice block, praying over Frosty the Snow Turd, for real. And okay, got it. Okay, makes perfect sense. I totally believe it. Totally believe it. All right, keep it going. Thank you so much for that. MT coming back again with that $5. He said, July 16th, 25, Charlie's words, I am not a Catholic. I have theological disagreements, sinless nature of Mary, papal infallibility, and transubstantiation. Oops. And that's July. So Candace would need to show us something sooner than that, or more recent than that, rather, in order to refute that. But I guess she won't. Shout out to MT again. Charlie don't have a WhatsApp pic. Girl, stop. Was that a WhatsApp picture? Really? So he was, okay, we might have to go back and look at that now. All right. Thank you, Ellie Roll 37 with the $9.99 shout out. Candace converted to Catholicism in April 24. So the message with Charlie in February 24 are outdated, and there was a different context to that conversation. She is mean and a liar. God help her blind. You know what? I was wondering, when did she convert? I was thinking about that because the conversation with Allie Beth Stuckey was recent, was last year. So, and that was with her husband and Allie Beth Stuckey. So it does seem weird. Shout out. Thank you so much. Great catch. And thank you for the support. MT coming back up in here again. Always supporting. I appreciate you. Contacts without pics on WhatsApp don't show like that. Really? Now I got to look up my WhatsApp. Contacts without pics. Really? See, that's what I'm saying. I don't trust Candace. I need to see. I need this to be verified, independently verified by Mint Mobile or Boost or Verizon. I don't know if he's on Sprint, AT&T, T-Mobile. I need this independently verified because I don't believe her. Thank you, Village Baby, again for the $5 super set. She forgot she spoke to the man who had the SD card footage. She forgot she literally saw the video and vouched that nothing was sketchy. I'm right there. 37 coming back up in here again with that $5 is this. Also, the group chat text, it sounded more like sarcasm, as though Charlie was saying, if you think Tucker is bad, how about Candace? It wasn't for her. I like that because I definitely did not get that it was a tacit, like, oh, I'm thinking about inviting Candace. I can kind of understand that. And there is some context, but she wants to read, as I said before, she'll read the best into things that work in her favor and the absolute worst into things that don't. There you go. Jujubee with the $1 super sticker. Thank you so much. StreamYard, let me be able to see these stickers. What's going on there? And Lynn comes through with the $27.99. Candace is lying and keep her story straight. I agree. She can't keep this story straight. This story is all over, all cattywampus and everywhere. And she can't keep it straight. And we're going to keep calling her out. And you know what we're also going to do? We're going to say shout out to Amethyst Angel with the $20 super sticker. If you're a betting person, who would wager that there's a team assigned to scrubbing through all of Mrs. Farmer's reactions? We're helping Patel and Bangino to put Mrs. Farmer in the institution with or without padded walls. I agree. I guarantee that there's some scrubbing. There's definitely some, or the Macrones. Because I think she's getting frustrated by the Macrones. Thank you so much for that, Amethyst Angel, for the very kind and very supportive $20 super sticker. And here we go right here. Harry's 1922 with the $2. Maybe she'll be a witness for the defense. You know, that would be so crazy. You know, that could actually happen. That is not a far-fetch at all. That she gets called as a witness against the prosecution. Man, now take this down, man. We don't need to give them ideas, but that could actually happen. And I would not be surprised. Shout out with Call Me K with the $20 super. Candice is nothing but a grifter, and she makes my eyes twitch. Shout out to your eyes twitching, and thank you for the very kind support of the channel. Susie Q, we're going to wrap it up with this. I wonder if she had PPD. She mentioned that last Thursday and kind of shot down the idea that she was doing this because she had postpartum syndrome. She changed a while ago and has like 4 kids in 4 years. Her oldest is 6. Her youngest is like sub 1 year. So she's definitely been popping them out. She's been pregnant for a long period of time. I quit watching her when she got on the when she got to be buds with Kanye. Right? Kanye was I don't know if he was the problem, if he was the symptom, if he was a catalyst, whatever. But he definitely is. He's not good for her. She's not doing well with Kanye. Let's get back to this. Let's get done. Let's go.
The Comet AI browser, because I know you probably spend a lot of time on your web browser every day. How much time do you spend clicking around online, searching, scrolling, typing, endless tabs, /Candice, and use code Candice. All right, you guys. So how are we supposed to honor Charlie, right? You honor Charlie, of course, by donating to Turning Point USA and shutting up and trusting the feds. Don't question anything because it's just not right or whatever. You shouldn't even question the things that Charlie was questioning, right? The spin is in. I got really annoyed last night going through. Somebody tagged me and said, you see Alex Clark posted and tried to make it seem like I lied about the new Doge department when I literally shared the email from Charlie. They're even using this kind of like, I could call it Christian slop, okay? Because what they're serving up to you is, well, if you're a good Christian, you shouldn't do this. Like they're kind of saying it's demonic. You're possessed by a demon if you want to pursue truth.
Is somebody really saying that realistically? Is somebody saying, and for real, I'm not trying to be funny. Is somebody honestly saying that you are demon possessed if you are looking for truth? Or just make sure I got all my balances right. Or are people saying that Candice is demon possessed because Candice is jumping from conspiracy to outright lie to fabrication, so on and so forth, bouncing around with no bearing at all? Which one is it? Because I don't think anybody is saying, oh, no, you can't ask any questions. If you ask questions, you're demon possessed. I haven't heard it. Maybe it's out there. Let me know. DearWolkC@gmail.com. What I have heard, however, is that Candice. And I think that's funny. She likes to, when statements are made toward her, she applies them to everybody else as if we said that about somebody else. No, we're saying it about you, Lady Farmer, directly to you. To you.
No one ever but Satan incarnate, okay? Truth is truth. It is always appropriate. Another one of these talking points that are coming out is people are doing this for clicks. They're motivated by money.
You do know that she did not address what Alex Clark said. She didn't pull up what Alex Clark said. She said it was on Twitter, so that shouldn't be hard to do. And she also didn't show what she said. I just find that interesting. Now we're gonna get in here because here comes the click argument. I've heard this one all weekend.
Do you guys understand the tens of millions of dollars that Turning Point USA made in the 2 weeks following Charlie Kirk's assassination? It would be insane for a person to suggest that if a random guy on YouTube catches 1 million views discussing ballistics, which there have been many gun guys who have done videos on ballistics and caught 1 million views, that's somehow immoral because they're maybe going to make $10,000 if they keep that up for an entire month. Like that is.
Shout out to everybody who's been calling out Candice, because Candice has been clearly paying attention, whether it be myself and other content creators that have gone over her analytics, myself pointing out that Candice, I believe, based upon information belief, has a bone to pick with Erica Kirk and all the others. Shout out to y'all. Y'all are gotten under that girl's skin. Y'all need to deserve a pat on the back. Give yourself a pat on the back and make sure you hit that like button. Shout out to every last one of the content creators and people in the Twitter and the social media space that are giving her that business because she needs to keep getting that business because she's upset about this. She's very upset about this. And please understand, Turning Point getting tens of millions of dollars for an organization that employs several hundred people is very different than Candace Owens LLC getting $3 million for an organization that employs 4 people in your basement, per your testimony. I'm just saying, per day. That's a big difference. That's a big difference. When you're talking about what the amount that she's been raking in since Charlie Kirk's death, I'm sorry that you cannot look at that and not see there's something there. There you go. I'm just saying, shout out to him. Let's go.
Insane. And it actually relies on financial literacy to think that that's immoral. Good for them. Good for them. If you have a small account and you somehow got 1 million views because you told the truth, then bless you. Okay.
Somebody clip that. Somebody clip that section out and make that a meme, because the next time a candy, I know we got all the candy sitting up in the front row of the church. So every time the candies come in, I'm going to drop that link. I'm going to drop that clip of her saying it's not immoral for me, small account, to make money telling the truth. She just said it. Back that up. Run that tape back. And I'm going to give you the big screen just so you can make sure you clip it. Clip it for your boy.
When I literally shared the email from Charlie, they're even using this kind of like, I call it Christian slop, okay? Because what they're serving up to you is, well, if you're a good Christian, you shouldn't do this. Like they're kind of saying, it's demonic. You're possessed by a demon if you want to pursue truth. Said literally no one ever but Satan incarnate, okay? Truth is truth. It is always appropriate. Another one of these talking points that are coming out is people are doing this for clicks. They're motivated by money. Do you guys understand the tens of millions of dollars that Turning Point USA made in the 2 weeks following Charlie Kirk's assassination? It would be insane for a person to suggest that if a random guy on YouTube catches 1 million views discussing ballistics, which there have been many gun guys who have done videos on ballistics and caught 1 million views, that's somehow immoral because they're maybe going to make $10,000 if they keep that up for an entire month. Like, that is insane. And it actually relies on financial literacy to think that that's immoral. Good for them. Good for them. If you have a small account and you somehow got 1 million views because you told the truth, then bless you. Okay? Don't let them shame you. You're doing it for clicks. Oh, no, their account talks about ballistics all the time. This is now just a political assassination, the most high profile ever, and people want to understand every aspect. So we're clicking and we're watching these individuals that look like they know what they're talking about, especially in the absence of any truth coming from the quote unquote authorities.
All right. So make sure y'all clip that and send it to your boy, dearwokec@gmail.com. So I have a small account, Candace, so I can do that. So next time the candies come, I'm going to drop their high priestess of confusion, the patriarch of platitudes. I'm going to drop that on their lap and say, well, she told me that I can do this. She said I can do this as long as I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. Catch me outside. I'm just saying, this woman is a treat. She is a joy to my soul. I'm just saying. I appreciate you, Candy. Thank you so much, Candispiracy.
So what are we supposed to believe? That the more moral thing would be for us to behave like Turning Point USA employees? You know, Alex Clark calling me out, you're kidding me? Should I do what she did? And it would have been more moral for me to invite the Wall Street Journal a literal week after Charlie is murdered to photograph me in high boots standing over his memorial site at the office, like the outside memorial vigil where people mourn and drop off flowers and gifts, because that's exactly what Alex Clark did. And I thought it was icky. I thought it was gross. I didn't say anything because everybody mourns in their own way, but I got to stop saying that. I got to stop saying everybody grieves in their own way. This is the article that was published on September 18th. So we can assume that they at least photographed her one day and interviewed her one day earlier, right? That's being charitable. So this was done latest, again, 1 week after Charlie was assassinated. Again, take a look at this. Pull that up. I'm going to pull this photo up because I just want to look at the photo. This is literally her.
Okay, I tried to find this article and I could not pull it up without it was behind a paywall. Charlie Kirk made her a star. Here's how she plans to honor him. Alex Clark, one of Turning Point USA's most prominent female voices, says she is committed to bringing more women into the movement. Okay, what's wrong with that? I think she should smile. That would probably be the only thing I would probably say. And she's standing next to the memorial. I mean, what's the problem? But Candace just wants there to be a problem. That's just it. She just wants a problem. And there's no way around it. Let's go.
Her being shot in front of the gifts that people are dropping off for Charlie. But maybe it's Photoshopped. Doesn't look like it is to me. Even if it was Photoshopped, I would be losing my mind. I
I'd be losing my mind.
understand how anyone would let this go out and think that it's okay. If they knew Charlie, I couldn't even speak to the press that week. I still haven't spoken to the press about Charlie Kirk, actually. I haven't even given one interview about Charlie Kirk. It felt icky to me. I'm just focused on investigating his murder. Anyways, I want to read a little blurb from this article.
Hold on one second, y'all.
Published September 18th.
Hold on, y'all.
Alex
Hold
Clark
on.
was about to
I need y'all to, I need you to please, in the chat, please put a 1 in the chat if you believe that Candace Owens has been contacted by any press to talk about this. And she's so heartbroken, so torn apart, so forlorn that she cannot talk to them. Put the 1 in the chat, and then if not, put something else, right? Put something else. Probably bovine scatology. But how? This is amazing. It's possible maybe, but I'm sorry. I don't think so. I just don't believe it. I'm sorry. And I can be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong. My name is Jason. I am not perfect. What I am saying, however, is this woman she puts so much out there that is in error. It's hard to take her seriously when she probably is right. She could be telling me that today's Monday. I'm going to second guess it. I'm looking like, oh, wait, hold on now. Let me look at the calendar. Let me look at the abacus. You got a slide ruler. I need to look at some other secondary, tertiary resources before I take your word for it, Candace. That's just it. Okay, so here it is. Here's the article, and she's going to read this blurb. I was trying to get access to it, and I don't have the Wall Street Journal. And the Wall Street Journal does not want me to have access to it. It's discriminating against me. It is impeding me because I have a green baseball cap on. It does not want me to be great. I'm just double checking, see if it'll. Oh yeah, I gotta sign in. Because I kind of want to read what it said, because I don't want to take Candace's word for it. But if I get it tomorrow, I'll make sure I have it available. All right, let's get back to this. Let's roll. Let's go. Fire in the hole.
For a work trip to celebrate the first anniversary of her podcast when she heard the news. Her boss, Charlie Kirk, had been shot. She says, quote, "The very first thought that popped into my head was, I'm so glad that Charlie knew Jesus," said Clark, 32, who hosts the Maha-friendly podcast Culture Apothecary for Turning Point USA. The second thought was, what will happen now? And the third thought was, thank God Trump is president. I don't know. You? People around the world didn't even know Charlie, okay?
Hold on. Let me read the rest of that sentence. Hold on. She said, thank God Trump is president. She praised FBI Director Kash Patel and his deputy Dan Bongino for their leadership in the hunt for the suspect. And then what's so crazy is that we have them in office because of Charlie, Clark said. Okay. I think if you read more of that, you kind of understand why she's saying, thank God Trump is in office. Okay. It could be a stretch. I probably would not have reached out and said that was something peculiar. That's just me. Let's go.
Charlie Kirk had been shot. She says, quote, "The very first thought that popped into my head was, I'm so glad that Charlie knew Jesus," said Clark, 32, who hosts the Maha-friendly podcast Culture Apothecary for Turning Point USA. The second thought was, what will happen now? And the third thought was, thank God Trump is president. I don't know. You? People around the world didn't even know Charlie, okay? Third thought, thank God Trump is president. Like MAGA? Did you go MAGA? Did you go like, I'm glad he knows the Lord, and then MAGA? What are we missing here? Does that feel okay at all? Goes on to say she praises the FBI Director Kash Patel and his deputy Dan Bongino for their leadership in the hunt for the suspect. What's so crazy is that we have them in office because of Charlie, Clark said. So honor the feds, quick pick outside, and also MAGA hard. That is like, I'm sorry, I get it. Everybody grieves differently, okay? but not that way. The last thought that I had as I spent days crying, okay, had difficulty physically pulling myself out of bed, felt like I was being a bad mother, was, man, I'm sure glad Donald Trump is president. MAGA. I didn't feel that way. In fact, I was angry. I remember feeling angry when Trump moved to kind of like do a same time post, Bibi Netanyahu, and then like publishes a picture of Charlie with an Israeli flag behind. Was pretty angry about that. I thought, yuck, that's gross. Have you no dignity and respect? Post a picture of his family, you know? Trying to like already sow seeds in people's minds that like, no, he like kind of died for Israel, loved Israel so much, this would be appropriate, especially in the context of the message I just read to you. It was gross. But anyways, I don't know why. I don't know why, but the people that are critiquing us for investigating the murder are not critiquing themselves and not holding a mirror to themselves. Anyways, Alex has decided to share a total half-truth PR spin on another tweet from Tyler Boyer, where he responds to someone asking about Charlie establishing a Doge department. Again, we presented that to the public. We showed the internal email, the internal memo that went out. It was Charlie in his own words. We showed the whole email. I didn't read the paragraph where he announced that Justin Strife would be the COO, but we read the entirety related to the Doge department. And here's what Tyler says about that. He says,
Before she
took a sentence and made some.
Before she gets into this, I just want to say again, shout out to everybody that's giving them havoc on social, because they are real. She's really upset about this. I'm getting, I'm feeling and getting the vibe, the ick, if you will. But man, she is really perturbed. She is really perturbed. You are not going to be getting a Christmas card. Any of y'all that was doing this, you're not getting a Christmas card at all. You can just give it up, people. And so let's keep this going, because we already talked about why TPUSA was probably doing an audit, because they do one every year, and they're wanting to trim the fat. That's not unheard of, and the email kind of makes that clear. The memo kind of makes that clear. But let's see what she says.
Thing up. TPUSA doesn't audit every year, always has. Charlie constantly look for ways to make everything we do more efficient. That's TPUSA. It operates 8 times more effectively than any other similar operation. So what did I make up when I shared an email and Charlie said he wanted to establish a new Doge department? Why would he call it new if he was doing it every year? And wow, what foresight you had as a company that's been around for like 10 years or more, maybe even more 10 years, that you were doing Doge since the beginning? No, you're conflating, and it's dishonest. It's dishonest. The audit has F all to do with Doge. The audit is what 501c3s are instructed to do. Audit, get an independent auditor and audit yourselves, or else the IRS will hound you. Now, when you are auditing yourselves, I will guarantee you the Clinton Foundation audited themselves annually. That does not mean that there is not corruption. It means that you're doing things that are above board from a government perspective. It does not mean that within your own organization there is not corruption. That is the reason for a Doge department, at least according to what Elon Musk said. Nobody, when he established Doge with Vivek Ramaswamy, was thinking that he was going in there because he was going to see if they're violating the IRS laws. No, I think he went in there to see wasteful spending and to see where the money was going, where our tax dollars was going. That's the vibe I got. So there was.
So we have to impugn TPUSA and their Doge department based upon the vibe that Candice got, not by the intention of the director of the organization, but just by the vibe that Candice got. Y'all put vibe in the chat. We got to go with the vibes, man. We got to go with the vibes, man. We got to go with them vibes. We got to go with what the vibes are telling us, not what the director said, but we got to go with the vibes. Got to go with the feelings. Get them feelings, happy feelings. Feelings in the air. Happy feelings everywhere. All right, get done.
Relying on us to be, again, financially illiterate, to not understand how it works. I shared a 501c3 lawyer with them. So I met her in her offices with Charlie, and she explained the reasons why she said that you got to get an independent auditor. I actually think that for organizations of a certain size, you're required by law to do an annual audit if you're 501c3. I think it's state by state that guides that. But to present this like this means we're above board, I have a feeling some people are going to die on that sword, because the reality is that big companies, inevitably, you will find corruption. And I'm hearing some stuff. Okay, a lot of contractors, that's something that you can do. As just one example, that's completely legal, but utterly immoral, is if you're outsourcing all of the millions of dollars to contractors and you're getting kickbacks. That's just one example. Okay, so I take money from donors and then I show that I'm paying out to a contractor who doesn't work for Turning Point USA, but that contractor is then somehow paying me back. That would be something that wouldn't flag the IRS, but then would flag a CEO and a Doge department if they started looking at where the money was spending. I hope that clarifies, Matt.
Yeah, it clarifies that you've just now created a story. So shout out to everybody, all the candies that get upset about my story about Marsha and Sally. She just did the exact same thing right there in 4K. So make sure, Candice, y'all up here in the front of the church, make sure you give her all that same heat for what she just did here. And every time she does it many times a show where she creates a scenario and just tells you this is what's happening. Now, she just told you that she sat down with the TPUSA lawyer and Charlie. That would mean that it would have been back in 2000, whenever it was that she still worked with TPUSA, which I think she left in 2019 or 2020. What does that have to do with anything? That was almost 5 years ago, ma'am. See, this is the crazy stuff. Let's get done.
Now, shifting gears only slightly, I don't often or really ever speak about my faith journey, right? Because I'm still on it. And I don't want to make a mistake or be wrong. And in many ways, I kind of feel like this pressure that I don't want to let Catholics down because I don't know everything. And I
Wow.
have been Catholic forever to speak.
I just did a video on her and her Catholic conversion. I think Candice is checking your boy out. Candice might be in the chat, y'all. I literally just did a video about this. Wow.
On things as I'm still a student. But I do want to say that a major clue for me that being non-denominational was no longer working for me happened because of things politically. When I tried to express certain questions about the modern state of Israel and was instead met with what I can only describe as cult-like behavior. You're seeing it right now, right? Judeo-Christian after Judeo-Christian making videos. Candace. It's like cult-like behavior. You can't leave, right? There's only one way out of here. People quoting scripture to actually fulfill what became quite obvious to me was just their political ends. And yeah, people taking money to do that. Keeping it above bar, it's not illegal, but you are taking money, you're taking free trips. So what are your motives here? If you're citing scripture to defend the actions of Bibi Netanyahu, you're a fraud. Of course, you're a fraud. And if you're accepting money to do that in the process, you're worse than a fraud. Anyways, I want to show you guys this clip that someone sent me. This was a sermon which was given by a pastor on September 21st, 2025. Now, it's not necessary to name the Judeo-Christian pastor, right? I'm never trying to put any fire on them because I actually think what they're doing is important, because I find out about all these sermons because their congregants are sending them to me, right? They got the CIA in their own congregation and people are going, and I stopped attending that day because I realized something's not right here. I want you to listen to this pastor's words because you might too feel similarly inspired to recognize that something is wrong. And I want to also be clear here, it's not every pastor. It's going to be fair for me to say that. But pastors that have a very strong political bent, something's not right there, all right? Now, to tee this up, the title of his sermon is What Has Defiled You? And he has decided for this particular sermon to pull from Paul's letter to the Corinthians. And that specific biblical passage that he cites is chapter 7, verse 1. And it reads, the Bible reads, "Therefore, beloved, since we have these promises, let us cleanse ourselves from everything that defiles body and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God." Now, you don't need to be a priest or a pastor to think right now about what you might perceive is the point of that passage. Probably thinking through it. Yeah, yep, it's important. Body, spirit. Probably not what you're thinking right now is that this has something to do with Megyn Kelly. You're probably not thinking Paul wrote this letter to the Corinthians because there's a point that he wants to prove about Megyn Kelly. But he's going to get there. That's how this pastor's going to get there. He's going to explain that. Take a listen.
Why am I bringing this up? Because I was watching an interview with Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly, and this is what they said. Everyone under 30 in America is against Israel. The older generation's not, because we've seen the Six-Day War in 1967. There wasn't a narrative that was so prevalent right now with foolish people that are so deceived, like a Candace Owens and like a Nick Fuentes, and young people are eating that up, and they're changing their philosophy on what these people say that do not base your ideology unless somebody has a Bible open. That is where your ideology comes from. You're going to be like that tree-hugging hippie mom that I'm trying to save her kids from being bitten by a rattlesnake and dying, and she's all worried about some habitat when she knows she's not welcoming in rattlesnakes in her home. And our ideologies, when we really, really think about them, they've been formed by a society that is not basing everything they believe out of the Word of God. And I challenge you today, if I've said anything that you don't think is right, bring your Bible and show me. Because if I'm wrong, I want to know.
Challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. I really, look, far be it from me. I'm not a seminarian. I really don't think that is what Paul, I don't think it was about Nick Fuentes. Call me crazy. I know you guys do on Sundays, but I don't think it was about Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens and the modern created state of Israel. again, I could be wrong. I'm open, like you, to being incorrect, but it's just like there's something that is so fundamentally disgusting. And I hope you guys agree about using the Bible to justify your own personal rants, using the Bible to justify why you're attacking somebody, preaching a sermon. Like, just start a podcast. You can be like me, right? I'm not sitting here going, turn your Bible here and you are, defiled and blah, blah, blah. And what this really means is like that turning point is like, there's something so incredibly evil about that. He has a quick second here when he wraps up his points about me that I want to get to, because I've started to realize I don't even think he knows what defile means, actually. Take a listen.
You need to go to the Lord and say, what has defiled me? Hopefully, some of you that have been defiled with the nation of Israel because you've been in an echo chamber of Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens, that defilement has now come off of you, and you're going to block them because they're anti what Scripture says. What defiles you? What defiles you?
So I think what he is saying, that if I'm being charitable here, he's suggesting like you'll somehow be saved if you block me on Insta. What is this? Actually, what is that? I'll tell you what it is. It's completely heretical in the theological sense, but it's also unhinged. It's just unhinged. He looks unhinged. It's like he
Okay, hold on. I'm going to tell you right now, I found the church. I already found it. All I got to do is just do a quick search. I found the church. I think it is hilarious that this woman just sat there and said that what that man said is heretical, but this is okay. Praying over Frosty the Snow Turd is perfectly okay. Blessing an ice cube is perfectly okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that pastor's rendition of that, but you all know where I stand on the sacred box and giving social commentary and political commentary from the pulpit. I'm not a fan of that. And I don't think that that passage is needed in order to make that claim that he was making about, he didn't need to do that. He just didn't need to. It was kind of silly. So I do side with Candace that what he said was kind of silly. But what about this guy right here in the white abominable snowman outfit laying hands on an ice cube? What about that? If you're saying that what that pastor was preaching was heretical, what about this? That's all I need to know. I just need to make sure I understand it correctly. What about the guy that's blessing the ice cube? I just want to make sure I understand it correctly. Maybe it's the ice cube that hit the Titanic and he's absolving it of his sin for killing all those people. I don't know. But what about this? I agree that man's sermon was a little bit hot garbage. It was giving hot garbage energy. But Candace, what about your guy out here praying over an ice cube? I'm just saying, my man getting frostbite by praying, laying hands on the ice cube. Laying hands on the ice cube is crazy. I'm done.
It's like so much relies on him getting his point across. So he just like opens his Bible, points to a verse, and just throws it up and says whatever he wants to. He's basically me on like AIM when I was in the 8th grade, picking out quotes from like, whatever those quote websites are and just like throwing it on my away message. There's no rhyme or reason that he's doing this. Just a feeling that he has, and he wants to express it and justify it using a quote without its context or even understanding of why that quote was said or why that biblical passage was written. It's wrong, and it's also deranged. Everything that's happening right now to continue to justify what the state of Israel is doing, the modern state of Israel is doing, which has nothing to do with the ancient Israel, the biblical Israel, is they are now trying to censor us.
It's funny that she mentions biblical, and she seems like she can't get the words out of her mouth. I'm gonna leave her alone. Let her go, Jason.
Trying to control our speech. They are murdering children. And so the more that you defend this and that you pretend that this is what God wants, the more that you will expose yourself, right? The more that you expose yourself. Even this headline is crazy. This came out that like their TikTok, which we covered this before, the moderation team, like IDF soldiers, and Bibi Netanyahu saying, we're taking over TikTok. Like, my agents are going to get that in a purchase. That's what needs to happen so that we can win. Announcing essentially psychological warfare on the American people because they don't think we can think for ourselves and decide who we want to follow on X all by ourselves. Apparently, they're going to ban the juice box emoji, right? Because they can't talk about the modern state of Israel, have been using like the apple juice because juice can sound like Jews. And so they're now moderating that. And I will say this, that's going to be funny because it's going to be a game like whack-a-mole and all we can do is laugh at it because these people are savvy. These TikTokers are like, they're pretty savvy on the internet. They're going to be, so they're going to be announcing like, let's use this emoji instead. From now on, this represents the modern state of Israel. And before you know it, there's going to be no emojis that are allowed on TikTok. Actually, it would be funny. The funniest thing that they could possibly do right now is every time you want to talk about Israel on TikTok, use the term TikTok and see if TikTok will ban TikTok from TikTok. That's how we win. Like if that happens, we win. Okay. We get to laugh forever that we made TikTok ban TikTok because TikTok is actually code for Israel. The modern state of TikTok. That's what I want you guys to do, because that would just be funny. And we have to actually have fun because it's getting so crazy. We have to actually have fun and continue to smile and laugh and to be happy warriors for truth. Because Charlie always believed in being a happy warrior. That is just a fact. Anyways, you guys, let me.
I would love for her to reference her own husband. I don't know, man. Call me old school. Call me irresponsible. Call me just crazy, but a married woman referencing another married man as much as Candace does it's giving weirdness vibe. I never hear her talk about her own husband. Like, is your husband not a happy warrior? Like, reference your own dude. Why do you keep referencing somebody else's husband? Because you would really think, never mind, because people got mad at me about my story. People got mad about my Sally and Marsha story. They came for your boy's neck about my Sally and Marsha story. But my goodness, in the morning, if you're married, shout out if you're married in the chat. Go ahead and put how many years you've been married in the chat. We're gonna shout out the married people real quick because I gotta feel good about that. We've been married. Me and Lady Dear World Christian been married 23 years. She done put up with me for a good old minute. She done put up with me. What? Come on, what do we got here? We got 35. Come on. Let's hear for the 33s. The 30s in the building. 3 centuries. Come on, 12s. We got you. We gonna cheer you on. Keep going. 32, 13, 36. My goodness, in the morning. 15, big baby. I see you. Almost 24. Guess what? We're going to cheer you on to victory. Let's go. 40 years. Good night. Penny, you must be somebody loves you, baby. Come on. 8 years. Let's go. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Kissy 3 times 3. Don't you even sweat it. What? 57 years. That's a long time. It's been a long time. Good gracious. Shout out. S.A. Grammy 4. Good night. Praise the Lord. That's what I'm talking about. Wait, I did 7. James, I'm going to have to put you in 0-second timeout. Y'all, we're going to have to put James in 0-second timeout. You wild, man. You're wild.
More of our sponsors for today before I get into.
Oh, Candace is reading sponsors. Anyway, let me put them out of the way.
Some of your comments. First, I want to tell you guys about Pure.
All right. Got it. There we go. All right. 37. You got married when you was 18? Good gracious. How old was I? I was 26 or 27. I don't remember. I was an old man. Q said, shout out 57 for show. Congratulations. 3 centuries. Let's go. Well, Amy, some people were not as gracious as you, Amy. I believe I remember seeing your comment. There's some people that were mad at your guy. They were mad at Jay Witt. They said, Jay Witt, you can't be making stories like that. That story hit a little bit too close to home for some people. They was in their feelings. They was in the feelings. I got the comments. They came for your boy. What is this? Shout out for the $2 super says, I love you too. Antic Zero, Candace Owens. Come on. There's some other good ones too. Let's get these out of here as well. Sorry, Catholics, for allowing her to cloud my view. $2 super from MT. Candace is a piece of work for sure. Oh, there's another. Oh, I'm sorry. I love you. He said, oh, wait. Antichrist, Candace Owens. I see what you did there. $2. I mean, the $5 super for MT Catholic. Candace Owens. People are coming to Jesus via TPUSA. So I must tear it all down. Charlie was right about Catholics. Ironically, Catholicism before Jesus. And I do want, I want, this is what I want. I want Candace Owens to give the gospel. I want to hear the gospel is in her understanding. That's what I want to hear. I would love to hear it. Thank you for the $5 super. And Alex is coming in again with a 1790. She says this, us Jews need to start paying her shekels for all the time we're living rent free in her head. All the time. Jews, 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 Israel, Jews, Jews, Jews. And I want to end there for a second. One of the issues that I see is that people are buying into the narrative that all roads lead to Israel. I believe and support the independent state of Israel. I guess, what does that make me, a Zionist? Okay, whatever. I want to be fine. Y'all can live over there and be fine. But my attention, my investment, the lion's share of what I do is geared toward what's going on right here inside these states and inside this good old United States of America. What's going on in Israel doesn't change the fact that I had to get my air conditioner replaced today. And that don't change nothing. I had to spend time today, and it was hot over here at Whitaker Park while this guy was trying to figure out what was wrong with my air conditioner. And it is October. Yes, don't say anything, but it's still hot here in Georgia. But that Israel didn't have nothing to do with that. They had nothing to do with the power surge that killed my air conditioner. They had nothing to do with the fact that the guy was taking a long time to replace my air conditioner. Nothing. It's just me. But everything is not centered around Israel. It's not. And because in Candace's world, everything does, it does cause you to become a little bit neurotic about and manic about some of the things going on in the world. And you hear people joking about it, like the wind blows, it must be the Jews' fault and this, that, and the other. Why are y'all talking about Israel so much on TikTok that they got to ban the juice box? Do you ever think like maybe you're talking about them too much? Like maybe they might just be, you might be given like infatuation or obsession? Maybe? It just seems weird. Because I can't make it make sense. Let me bring this back in. We got to get Candace going. I think she's doing an ad read, I think.
Society works because of the freedoms guaranteed by the First Amendment. Everyday Americans should be able to speak openly about honesty.
Yeah, she's doing an ad read. Okay, here we go, right there.
Or visit AmericanFinancing.net/Owen. That's Owens. That's AmericanFinancing.net/Owens. Cameras Owens. Somebody wrote me a message and was like, Candace, you said your name wrong. They missed the Operation Mocking Pastor joke. Cameras Owens.
Oh, this is another something about Candace. You know, Candace gets upset about something. If somebody mispronounces her name or somebody really gives her that work, gives her a real serious tongue lashing, Candace will immediately come back and mispronounce their name. Go back and watch what happened the day that she talked about Rob McCoy. And I believe he called her Cameras. And so she's right here referencing that Cameras. When Michael Savage, we watched that video, Michael Savage gave her a serious tongue lashing. Well, when she addressed it, she called him Michael Malice. And she tries to do a real coy, like, I don't remember his name. What's his name? Malice, Michael Malice. She knew his name. She knew that. And she's done this several times since, where if somebody really gives her that work and they really make some great points, she mispronounces their name. And you'll see it. If you go back and look at some of her tapes, look at the crates, and it kind of stands out like, wait, why'd you do that? You knew that man's name. You knew it before. Now all of a sudden you don't know it. So I just think that's funny. I just wanted to get that out. Let's go.
Owens is my pastor stage name when they're talking trash about me. I actually love that so much. All right, let's get into some of your comments. What is on your mind? I'm going to be in so much trouble, man. I'm going to get off here, airwaves, and be like, she's not, she is just, yeah, I'm there now. I just don't like it. I just not getting the right vibe. I know everybody else feels it too. And I'm just really tired of these influencers making the videos. We're all saying the same thing in a different way. I think we're dumb and like it's all happening organically. It's like, it's just tiresome. It's really tiresome. So if I have to take on everybody so we can get some truth, then that's what it is. That's just what it is. Jennifer Murchison writes, praying for your safety. Candace, keep digging, please. You are onto something. We need truth.
Was that a threat? Did she just make a tacit threat to all content creators? Okay, Candace. Okay, we'll see.
Thank you, Jennifer. That is a massive donation. I really, really appreciate that. All of you guys that have been donating to the show to support us, like I just want you to know, like we really appreciate it and we see it. Melissa Forberg, similarly, the really nice donation here. Spent the weekend researching the Kabbalah. It was, to say the absolute least, terrifying. Thank you. yes, it is very important. Of course, if you are in my book club, we're about to really get into it, by the way. Tomorrow we start the book, which they don't want to resell, which is crazy. I don't know where David Bakan's children are, the author of the book. He is Jewish himself, but I'm just wanting to know that they're blocking money from you. They don't want the public to read this book, which you can download and find it online for free. But like, still, it's pretty crazy that they are now realizing people are catching on. That book will dive into the Kabbalah. It's very important to know. Similarly, like I've said from the beginning, we have different denominations within Christianity. That's kind of what this whole episode has been about. I don't know why. I don't know why so many evangelicals have such vitriol for Catholics. The feeling is not mutual. Genuinely, the feeling is not mutual.
That is a lie. It is a lie, and the truth is not in it, Candace. Let it go. Stop it. Stop it. We are not the same, ma'am. We are not the same. We're not the same.
Side or on the Orthodox side. And so it's interesting to say the least. But similarly, within Judaism, there are different sects. There just are. And we don't realize that. We don't know what they believe in. We just go, oh, well, it's Judaism. It's just, it's the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible. No. There's also the Talmud. There's also the Kabbalah. And to just not actually study and understand all of those differences, it makes us extremely ignorant and very likely to be indoctrinated into one of those religions, convinced that it's actually modern science, which is what's actually happening. I think we kind of live in a Kabbalist society more than anything else. And I think that this book that we're going to read will help you get there. We go there in the book club. We go there. And so if you'd like to join the book.
It's funny because she has mentioned several times that she doesn't know much about Catholicism. She's still learning, as she has mentioned several times. Why would her aim and effort not be to expose her audience to the sound biblical doctrine of Catholicism, if in fact it was sound biblical doctrine? Why would you not be pushing that? Why would you at all be introducing your audience something that you're learning, like about Judaism, when if Catholicism is valid, wouldn't it run afoul of Judaism? And you're actually giving them the tools to sort through all of the mess, all of the fluff, all of the foolishness? Wouldn't that make more sense, Candace? Why read a book about a false religion of Kabbalah if Catholicism is so legit? I'm only wondering, I'm just posing questions. I hope I'm not like asking too many.
Club, we're starting a new book tomorrow. Tomorrow will be an introduction to that book. We will wrap up this last book that we read, which is similarly terrifying, which is The Assault on Truth. The scales will fall from your eyes if you read The Assault on Truth to understand how they will lie to protect the most evil people in the entire world. You have to destroy your belief system about Sigmund Freud. And then you're ready to learn about what Sigmund Freud what his major contribution was. And that's the book we're diving into next. Sigmund Freud and the Jewish Mystical Tradition is the name of that book by David Bakan that we will be starting on tomorrow's book club. Lauren Houlihan writes, you mentioned the suspicious way so many of the individuals surrounding Charlie's case are new to their role. I live in Dallas, and I noticed after the ICE shooting that Daniel Camo, the Dallas police chief, is new to the role as of April. We are all being lied to. Yeah, it's almost like they're like actors. You know what I mean? You're going to just play the role of sheriff when we do this thing. You're going to play the role of this, and everyone's going to be so new. It's pretty lame. It is pretty lame. Again, questions we're allowed to ask them. Expose the Truth writes, I have been a Catholic my whole life and attended a non-denominational church once and found it to be cringy, like that pastor that you showed the video of. Keep fighting for truth. I'm sure Charlie is cheering you on from heaven, praying for you. Actually, to tell you how emotional I was after Charlie's death is really just not myself, obviously. But I was upset. I was almost upset with my priest. Because when on Sunday, I expected him to say something about Charlie Kirk, which is not what he should be doing. Like you can dedicate a mass to somebody, but he didn't say anything about Charlie Kirk. And I was like, oh, I don't like that. And then now that I've removed from that, I actually appreciate that. Like, that is what I actually find that I love about the Catholic religion is like there's no political bent there. Like that is what I love, and I attend the Latin Mass, and what I was upset with, I now really appreciate in the retrospect that there's no drop of politicism when you're in the room. Jennifer Barney writes, I admire you so much. It's easy to drop something and go.
That's a very interesting take. Then why do you want pastors? If pastors don't, my pastor doesn't talk about that. But why would you? It just seems interesting that she speaks out of both sides of her mouth, because in one instance, she wants pastors to speak definitively against Israel, which would be considered a political conversation, right? And then also in the same breath, she's okay with them not speaking about politics because it's a political statement. I don't know what she wants.
Go with the flow. Don't drop this. Something is not right. Thank you, Candice, for being our voice. I'm grateful. I'm actually so grateful I can be your voice. And I'm grateful that you see that when they're attacking me, they're just kind of attacking people for asking the most basic of questions. And again, I'm so grateful to Tucker. I think is also one of our voices. He immediately interjects. He's like, well, let's be fair here. The feds have lied about everything, always. So why should we think this is different, especially when they're dropping these weird text messages? So yeah, I'm grateful that you guys trust me to be your voice, and obviously you guys were kind of all on the same squad here. So it's because of the information that you're giving me that I'm able to even platform it. So I have so much gratitude for you guys as well. Every morning I start the day with gratitude, and I always say how grateful I am for the platform that I have been given by God and the people that have invested in me by just watching and hearing what I'm saying and standing up for me when I can't stand up for myself because I'm being attacked from every which direction. So from the bottom of my heart, I do want to say thank you to you guys. Moderator Marzi writes, Rob O'Neill, the guy who shot bin Laden, questions the story of Charlie on Piers Morgan's show. Also, the South African ambassador to France was found dead in a Paris hotel. Oh no, France. France. It's hot right now, France. France is, you guys already know. Look, I want to say this. Make sure I read all of this. Oh, iBudget also asked, what's the update on your Australian visa status? I want to answer that real quickly. Your Australian fans need you. The Supreme Court of Australia heard, I don't think it's called the Supreme Court, you guys call it something else, but it is your Supreme Court, heard our arguments, and we are still awaiting a decision. Obviously, we can't rush them in their decision, so you will be the first to know when we hear back. Speech is on the line, but of course, we will always respect the decision.
Sorry about that, y'all. Is it not funny? Is it not peculiar? Does it not pique your interest that Candace Owens has been banned from Australia, from going to do speeches in Australia? Can somebody show me where Candace has spoke here in the United States? Like, where is she doing speakings? Where is she doing speeches here in the United States? Where? Now, granted, I don't know the whole ins and outs about why she was banned from Australia. We'll let the Aussies deal with that. Y'all down under, y'all handle that down under. But what is she doing here? This is what I'm talking about. She's more concerned about going to Australia and fighting Australia because they don't want her there than going to anywhere here in the United States. Where is your efforts here, Candace? And that's what I think the problem is. And I've said this before. I think the issue is, I'm done with Candace. Yeah, she's done. Okay. The issue is, I don't believe Candace can do what Turning Point has done. And she knows it. She can't go to college campuses and entreat college students to have dialogue with her. She just can't do it. She doesn't have the wherewithal. She doesn't have the internal consternation and governance inside. She's going to be combative. And she's going to be very difficult to do that with. But then also, nobody would really want to come and see her and hear from her. And it's such of that nature, because otherwise they would be beating down the door for her to come and speak right now. They would much rather have TPUSA and its myriad of speakers than ask for you, Candace. I'm just saying, that might come across as harsh, but ma'am, I don't think anybody cares what you're saying. So she would rather have the fight going on in Australia. What is that, 11 time zones away? I don't know, a long way away, but nobody in Miami's calling for you. What about Houston? What about Tennessee, for crying out loud? You live in Nashville. Nobody in Nashville wants you to come and speak and do an event, Candace. Nobody at any college, at any university is beating down the door for you. But you want me to be worried about free speech in Australia. And you're not exercising your free speech here in the United States. I'm just saying, show me where I'm wrong. Where was the lie? Anybody detect the lie? Let's finish up. I think I'm done with this. I'm done with Candace. It's okay. It's okay, Jason. I think she's finished. Hot trash, but she's done. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. But I want to say thank y'all so much for rocking with us for sure. Real quick. I think I missed one or two. I got a couple more supers up in here. Thank you so much. What we got right here? Thank you so much, Amethyst, for the $2 super. She says this is an awesome global chat, fam. I think you say love you, Jason. Thank you so much. I rock with you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the $2. Very kind of you. Shout out to Miss Manners with the $2. She gives Scarlett O'Hara, Ashley Wilkes vibes. Okay, Scarlett O'Hara. Gone with the Wind. Okay, I don't remember that one. I don't know what the vibes are there, but hey, she's definitely unequivocally giving vibes of somebody who's not being forthright in what she's saying. Now that I can rock with for sure. I just think it's interesting, man. The fact that she's still trying to couch this as some kind of everybody's mean, everybody's going against me, blah, 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 and not being forthright about the fact that, ma'am, you're the one that's saying that Turning Point, putting the target on Turning Point. You're the one. You're the one showing text messages now without dates and times, but then you upset about dates and times elsewhere. Stop it. You say the BB letter was fake. Now, remember, she said the BB letter was fake because she knows the person that had access to Charlie's laptop. Has she ever come back to that and addressed that? No, she hasn't. And we got to keep calling around. So the Candies, I know y'all came up here and sat in the front of the church. Thank y'all so much. Candies, we're not going to stop. We're going to just keep pointing this out. We're going to keep pointing it out. Feelings are going to still get hurt. All that kind of stuff like that. Get over it. Get over it. Candace is selling you a bill of goods. And just because, and please understand, most of this stuff is because somebody hasn't told her enough. So just because I don't know enough, then therefore must be a problem. That's crazy work. That is absolutely crazy work. But I want to say thank y'all so much for this. I really appreciate it. I do have a video. Can I get some help real quick? I need some help from y'all. And then I'm going to get out of here. I promise. I'm not going to keep talking to y'all all night because I know we've been here a long time. Okay. There's a rumor that Carmelo Anthony is going to Morehouse College online. I saw it on X. Here, I'll put the link to the chat on X. Oh, wait. Oh, I just heard. Oh, okay. I would like, if you could help me find out more information about Carmelo Anthony attending Morehouse College. I can't understand this. I just dropped the video for my members only. Maybe I'll just let y'all watch it. Yeah, I take it with a grain of salt. That's why I want a secondary source. And I think I just got a secondary source, Bree. So as soon as I know for a fact, I will speak on that. But I just want to know, like, has anybody else heard this outside of Twitter and Instagram? Those are the only two places I've seen it. I didn't see my alumni group, my alumni Facebook group, my alumni group chat, group me chat, nothing. So I don't know about this because we would have been talking about this. But yeah, if you run across that, and I just heard back from somebody who lives in that area, so hopefully this will be a good opportunity. I'm going to read this message again. Wow. Okay. Let me ask you this. Yeah, I don't. For the life of me, I don't understand this. So I'm kind of gobsmacked. Like, you got to be kidding me. Well, we can't be doing this. We got to be more serious than this. Let me see. You know what? I might just let y'all watch it real quick. It's about I might let y'all watch it. It's my members only, but I might, because I don't know emphatically that the information has been confirmed. So that's what I'm waiting to find out. I'm going to wait because I want to confirm that it's right. And I don't want to put stuff out there if he's not, in fact. And I definitely don't want to besmirch my alma mater because we got an alumni meeting next week. But if you know anything or find anything outside of X, a newspaper article, a mainstream reporting on it, something of that nature, can you let me know? Carmelo Anthony going to Morehouse College? And apparently he's doing it online. I have never heard that before. I'm like, wait, hold on, what? What are we doing? I didn't know we was doing online classes like that. I know they started it after the pandemic. I know, but I didn't think we was doing it like that still. So I want to know if you run across it, please let me know. Dear Woke C gmail.com. I think Tina and the mods have already put my email out there, but I want to drop it again if you do run across that. I would just like to just know more about it. And so please, I just dropped my email in there. Man, y'all, let's see how y'all did on these likes. What y'all doing with these likes? Y'all got them lights looking right. I love it. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me tonight. This was just a fun one. I thought this would be a good time. We'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna do it again tomorrow, and we're gonna talk about Candy and the such like that. You know what? Yeah, we're gonna do this again. The Lord willing, we'll do it again tomorrow. Came my way. Are you an HBCU grad? I feel like I remember that. If I'm mistaken, please forgive me. Are you an HBCU grad? Because I really want somebody to tell me that Carmelo Anthony was or was not, or is not a student at Morehouse Online. Oh, this is a great question. I do wonder if the Trump admin distribution HBCUs is paying for his. See, what I heard was that he was paying for it himself. So that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not 100% certain. That's why I really, really want to make sure that I know for a fact that before I dog out Morehouse about this, because I just can't believe that we would do that. All right, let me see what I missed. Okay, I'm sorry. Came my way. Please forgive me then. I'm sorry. From Chicago, what's going on? Juanita, how are you? I love it, y'all. Thank y'all so much. Yeah, now we got all these Chicagoans in the building. I see y'all. Yeah, if you want to shoot me an email, if you run across an article about Carmelo Anthony going to Morehouse or more about it, because I've seen nothing except what's on Twitter, which is kind of interesting because that story was everywhere and you could not turn left or right without running into it. Now all of a sudden you hear nothing about it and like not even like an update. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Let's get out of here. Let's do this again tomorrow. I do have a couple of good videos going live tomorrow, so I believe you'll enjoy those as well. And my plan is to do this again at 6:00 tomorrow evening. I have to pick up Chief Executive Second Born at 5:30, so I'm gonna be hustling from the school over here. But we made it, and we'll do it again, Lord willing, tomorrow. Thank you so much for rocking with us. If you did not hit the like button, did I earn it? Did I at least earn it? Maybe. You know, I'm out here begging. You know. Please, sir, can I have a like, sir, please? Anyway, help your boy. And thank you so much for rocking with me. I'll see you all real soon. Until then, everybody, grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Whitt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.